Good morning.
Coming from workout?
A little something like that.
Good to be back.
That's exciting. It's always exciting to start a new year with a clean slate, with a new group of guys. I say it every year. It's like first day of school, so we're excited to be back, excited to go to work.
Do you think, I know you visited one or two other teams, did you think you'd be here on this day?
I had belief in the Lord's plan that I was going to be where He wanted me, and this is where He wanted me, so thankful to be here.
After you guys, all the players are at different points of your careers. Some you're coming in for the first time. Some like Brady in his 19th year, 41 years old. Just knowing your background with Tom, like when you walk in here today, see him grinding away, if he's like 30, 25, like what comes to your mind?
I certainly think you have to take the time to pause and be appreciative of an athlete like that. What he's been able to accomplish is special, and to be able to witness it up close and personal is really a blessing. And I'm thankful to have learned from him as a professional, to see the way that he goes about his craft, to see his desire to prepare himself so that he can be successful. It's really something to watch. So I'm thankful to be witnessing greatness.
How much time have you put into the new kickoff rules? That's going to be.
Well, certainly, I think it's something that we covered over the course of the spring, kind of familiarizing ourselves with the way that the changes in the way that the play is going to be executed. I think, during training camp and the preseason, we'll really get a feel for how it's going to play itself out. I've said it before, I'm thankful that they were willing to save the play and make changes as opposed to just abolishing the play. So hopefully the changes yield the results that we're looking for from a player safety standpoint, and hopefully they still provide the excitement that the kickoff has always provided. So,
do you know all the rules yet? Because Terry McCauley, former ref who's now with like NBC, I think, he said one of the things people aren't talking about it, but he said the kickoff is really going to be messed up, and there's all these little things that keep tinkering with it. Do you know what the final set of rules, like what it looks like?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, I feel pretty comfortable. Now there are a few nuances that I'm sure over the course of training camp we'll have to get ironed out with the refs as they figure out how they're going to, officiate the play. But I think Joe's done a good job of kind of going over the rules with us from the back on up, from how wedge play is going to look, how front line play is going to look, and then flip it over on coverage, what our alignment's going to look like, what we can't do as far as chipping guys as we run down the field, things of that nature. So I feel like got a decent grasp on it, but training camp will allow us to fully digest it.
Have you gotten a feel for whether or not that would favor one side more than the other?
It's really tough to say. I think until we really get into live situations, game-type situations, it's going to be tough to say one way or the other. Special teams is one of the hardest things to simulate in practice because the speed is just, so hard to reproduce. So I think, once we get into preseason, I think all of us will have a better feel for that.
One of the things that Cordero Patterson told us when we talked to him in the spring was he said, doesn't matter what it looks like. I run through pretty much anything at all. What are your early impressions of him as a kick returner and what he could do for you guys this year?
Well, I've been watching him since he came in the league, and I think we've talked at length about, what he has from a physical standpoint that has enabled him to have success in this league. His size, his speed, he runs through a lot of arm tackles. I can attest to that personally. So, when you got a guy that big and explosive and who's got the right mindset, who wants to be aggressive, it's definitely a good thing. So, it's not just up to him, though. It's up to us, the guys blocking for him, to make sure that we give him an opportunity to utilize his skill set.
Have you guys had a full team meeting with players and coaches, full team, players and coaches yet?
Yeah.
What was the opening statement or the theme for that
I
meeting?
can't get into that. The family business. I respect the question, though, but.
Matthew, you mentioned this is like the first day of school. You've been around for a while now and in the league for a while. How has this day changed for you reporting back to camp, not only from a physical standpoint, but mentally getting back to work?
I think the biggest thing that's changed for me is perspective. I think as a player, Oftentimes you don't really take the time to pause and realize how blessed we are to be living out many of our childhood dreams. And I think as a young player, you're so caught up in trying to do everything you can to stick around and make the team, and you don't really take time to pause and do that. Now, granted, I'm still caught up in those things, but I've tried to take time and step back and maintain perspective and realize, hey, I play a game for a living. You know, I'm not out fighting fires. I'm not out on the battlefield. I'm playing football, and we really are blessed. So I think that's become more a part of my preparation is keeping things in balance and maintaining perspective. I think the hunger to, be successful, to grind, to work hard is always going to be there for me. That's just the way I was raised, but I think that's been the biggest change for me personally.
Do you try to pass that perspective on to some of the younger rookies or undrafted guys?
If I can, absolutely. This is a game, and I think it was meant to be fun, and I hope those guys enjoy it. It's a tough grind, and we all know the business side of things, and we start with 90, we go to 53, but I hope that those guys can appreciate what they've accomplished in getting into a training camp, not being complacent and satisfied, but being thankful for their opportunity.
Matthew, obviously, the national anthem league-wide is still a big story. Have you been involved in talks with the leagues and trying to hash out what the policy?
Well, I can't really get into what I've been involved in, what I haven't. I'll say this. We all know, how that issue has affected our league, our country. As a Christian, I believe it's my responsibility to show people the love of Christ and how I deal with them in my relationships, to invest in our youth, to invest in people and the human side of things. And that's the way I'm going to handle it. I can only speak for how I'm going to handle it. And I'm always going to be viewing things through a Christ-centered lens, and that's how I'm going to move forward.
What was your reaction when you saw that the NFL was going to rethink maybe the policy?
Didn't really have one.
Because weren't you involved with some of the talks in the off season?
Can't comment on that.
Matthew.
Kind of following up on the Tom question earlier about, this is your 11th year, and if we go back and look at the draft list, the guys that you got drafted with, that class you came in with, because I think a lot of them never made it, some of them stuck around for a bit, some of them retired early. Just kind of your thoughts on being a survivor.
I've been blessed. Most of the credit goes to the Lord. He's preserved me. He's shown me favor here in being with this great organization. Chad O'Shea brings that list out often, maybe this time of year, every year, with Julian and I. And there are a lot of great players on that list, very talented guys. But the NFL is a funny game, the way things work out with guys' careers, with injuries, with things of that nature. So, as I said earlier, I really feel like I owe my success to a lot of people around me. Obviously, you know how I feel, what I believe. The Lord has taken care of me, but people around me have enabled me to get here to this point, and I'm very thankful.
Matt, this is your 11th year. How you still seem to have an excitement for the game? How have you managed to stay measured and bring that excitement every year?
Man, I just love this game. I've been around this game my entire life. The person in the world that I look up to the most and has been the biggest influence on my life absolutely loves the game of football, and that's my father. So I don't know if it's the father-son thing or what it is, but I appreciate not only this game, the competition, the teamwork, the camaraderie, but just the lessons that come along with it, the relationships that you have, the accountability that you have to your teammates. There's really nothing like it, in my opinion. So, if you can't get excited about doing this, then perhaps it's time for me to look elsewhere. But I'm far from that point, so I'm loving it.
Your father had a long career. Did he give you any advice about having a long career, what to do?
Yeah, there's certainly been a number of things that we've talked about, especially, on the back nine now. I think, there's a number of things that he did to give himself a chance to be successful late in his career. I won't get into detail on that, but, again, he's been a tremendous resource for me. Thanks, guys.
Hopefully I'm not as long as Slate was.
Please go as long as you want.
No questions?
How's your brother making?
So how's he making out?
How's he fitting in?
I guess he's doing okay. It's first day, but I think he's doing pretty good. I just told him to just act like me as much as possible.
How excited are you to get this new season, or what is today like for you? Is it like the first day of school?
Yeah, guys I think are all working out all off season. You kind of come in today. You want to kind of showcase that, passing the conditioning test, feeling good about it. So it's an exciting time, I think, for all of us. Obviously, no one loves training camp and doing everything that comes a part of that and sleeping in a hotel. But I think the excitement of a new team coming back together with some guys, getting new faces, and trying to blend all that together. That challenge is tough, but once it comes together, I think you kind of realize when you look back at like this time of, the effort and everything you put into it, hopefully results into something that you really like.
Does that change throughout the years, from like your first couple of years to now, or do you still get that feeling like when you report like that, maybe?
You still get that feeling, but I think the stage you're at in your career changes. I think when I was young, I was just always worried about, how I was going to fit in, what I needed to do to be better. And I think now as you get older, you kind of think more of as a team concept of, how do I get everyone on the same page? You still have your individual goals of getting better and trying to be a good player, but you also think about how to get everything rolling on the same page, especially from my perspective defensively of trying to, be a leader on a unit that's good, obviously starting in the secondary, of having a good secondary. And I think you think about all that stuff coming together, trying to start sooner than later.
You have players at different points in their career, comprising the team, as every team does. When you come in here today or earlier this week and you see the oldest guy, Brady, still grinding away as 19th year, what comes to mind?
I think we're spoiled, though. I think we're so used to that. You don't think about it. Tom is who Tom is. Every day, you're going to get him in here early, leaving late, working hard, encouraging guys. The thing I've loved about him since I've been here, he's always a guy that you can look up to. He's always an example. You don't have to sit there and ask him a ton of questions about, what he does, how hard. You just watch him, and you can see it. And I think anybody who steps foot in the building, you kind of see that right away. So, since I've been here, he's always a guy, he's in the early part of camp. He's kind of full go. As soon as guys are reporting, he's always already ready to go. So, it's so normal for, especially a guy like me. It's my 9th year, so I've got to watch that 9 years in a row that I don't even think about it. But, as you said, to see him still grinding, I don't know if I could pull that off in 19 years. I think it's a huge part of the team's success and being able to watch him and his leadership.
Devin, what's it like not having Matt Patricia, not having Malcolm Butler, some of those familiar faces around here?
Normal. I think every year, it's kind of like that. Whether it was Vince Wilfork or Gerard Mayo, it always feels like it's something else. Last year was Logan not being here and getting used to that. So it's just a part of the year, and I think that's why this time is always very exciting and nerve-wracking, because it's everything. It's new guys, it's old guys, it's coming together to start to build the 2018 team, which, like we always talk about, is going to be different than 17, 16. It always is. So with that, we have guys that have been here for a while that are not here, and we can't think about that. We just got to get ready to go with who's here.
A big story around the league, obviously, is still the national anthem. Just what was your thought when you saw a few weeks ago that the NFL kind of pumped the brakes on their new rule a little bit?
Oh, you see how it all works out. I think for us, and I know for me, a lot of what I've focused on has been, what you've seen throughout the offseason, doing different things, a DA form, different op-eds. That'll continue to be my focus. So with the anthem policy, we'll see how it comes out and what happens, but the work off the field to me has been very encouraging throughout the league, seeing guys in different cities doing things. I think with the anthem policy, obviously that's what you guys have to cover. Hopefully you put a little side note, throw the things that guys have been doing, because I think that's more important than whatever the anthem policy is.
I know you've been working with the Players Coalition throughout the spring, and has the league reached out to you now to help work through the policy?
Well, no, they've been involved in us doing things. Not the policy. That's the Players Coalition is mainly focused on off the field doing things like that, not the anthem policy and the anthem and overall. So no, not that part, but they've been involved in doing different things throughout the country.
So to your knowledge, have the owners reached out to the players, or is it just with the NFLPA leadership? Like,
Yeah, that's PA and NFL. Yeah.
Do you tell that the players in this whole, forgetting the controversy, are sort of getting a bad rap? In other words, the good work that you're doing, that you and say Malcolm Jenkins are doing in the community has been ignored?
No, just need more coverage. You know, just keep giving us more coverage. I think the more is written about and talked about, I think it comes to the forefront. You know, but I think, like, obviously with training camp coming back, the preseason's in 2 weeks. We'll probably be bombarded with a ton of anthem stories. I'm sure as the weeks go on, you guys ask me about the anthem more. So don't worry, I'll keep having good off the field things that we've been doing to tell you. So you probably won't hear about the anthem, but I'll keep trying to bring those things to spotlight.
what do you have next?
I think one of the things is we're talking about now is trying the different recommendations of the funding for schools throughout Massachusetts. There's some areas that are poverty stricken that need more funds that don't get it. So obviously Massachusetts has one of the best public school systems in the country, but there's schools like in Brockton where kids are struggling because they just need more funding. So trying to change that. There's a bill that passed through Senate, so trying to get it passed through the House now. Myself, Slater, and Jason wrote an op-ed on that that I posted yesterday. So that's one thing that we're kind of focused on now, but still balanced now that we're in training camp. So.
Is it going to be hard to do in season? Is it going to be hard to kind of keep that positive momentum going that you guys feel like you built during the spring?
No, we've already mapped out, what you can and can't do. Like, it's just different in the spring. We're balancing family time and, doing stuff like that. Now with the season, you have the season and family, and then when we still can, we'll do things. But now we all are older guys and realize, like, it's a balance of understanding what you can and can't do.
Do you think there could be a compromise reached with the anthem? It seems like people either want the right to protest or they want you to be punished. Do you think there could be a compromise that makes everyone happy?
Yeah, I think that was, like you said earlier, I think that's a good thing what you're seeing right now between the PA and the NFL working towards that. So I think that's what they're doing, and I think hopefully something good comes out of that.
You just talk about Malcolm Mitchell in general. I mean, he's sort of been snake bitten for 2 years now. He's worked so hard. It's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, that's my guy. Younger guy that, obviously you see a lot of him working his butt off to try to get back out there. It's just sometimes, he's kind of battled through, injuries and being out there. But he's been a good player when he's been out there, very effective for us. But I think the good thing about him is his spirits are always high. He's always continuing to work. Like, he's not discouraged at all. He continues to put in the work and trying to get out there and do whatever he has to do. Keep encouraging him, keeping him going. But I don't know if you guys have talked to Malcolm. You can tell he has a good head on his shoulders and knows what he's doing. Appreciate it.
How we doing?
Was it different this year coming in as a captain? Last year you were a younger guy, but now you're in a position of leadership.
No, I think you just approach each year as the same. You got to kind of start at ground zero here, and we got a lot to work on. I've got a lot to work on, and but that's why we've got these weeks of training camp. So just try to take it day by day and really approach it the same that I have my whole career.
You hear a lot of around here, we get to where we want to be. But where is that? Because everyone tends to think it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's obviously goal when you go out there to play is win games. You win enough games, the result's obvious, and but I think for us right now it's just we got to go out there, get better every day. We got to form that team. It's kind of a new group every year, so we got a lot of things we got to work on, and we'll start here in the morning, but I think it's just improving each week, each day, and that's what we try to do. Yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously things like that, but that's going to happen a lot later in the year. So right now, training camp's really that main goal, and training camp's fun. It's a lot of competition, things like that, where we can work on against each other, and we'll just try to start building that process, to get to that point.
Seems like your position coach has been coaching this game forever. You surprised to see him back here at it for another trip on the carousel, I guess?
I got a lot of respect for Scar and what he does, and he's been doing it a long time. And I think as a player, seeing that, it just speaks volumes of how committed he is, and how much he really does want to do this. So it's been awesome getting to learn from Scar and getting to play for him.
It's strange not having Nate here.
That's just unfortunately the business. Like I said earlier, each year has been different. Different teams, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it, but that's just how it is. Nate was always great to me, great teammate, and wish him all the best.
Seems like there's gonna be a lot of competition on the offensive line this camp. Is that something you guys are looking forward to?
Yeah, I think there's competition every year, and I think you need that competition to really push yourself and become a better football player. I think that's where you see a lot of growth in guys is competing and. Not only competing against the defense linemen, but within a group, and that's just part of it too.
David, as a veteran player now, how would you say, since you were a rookie, your relationship with Bill Belichick has evolved?
I've always had a lot of respect for Coach. I think it is kind of crazy to think of a veteran player. I mean, it's only my 4th year, but. Coach has always been good to me, and I really respect him, and he's a heck of a football coach.
David, have you gotten to spend a lot of time with Isaiah Wynn, and what are your first impressions of him?
Yeah, I mean, I played with Isaiah at Georgia, and Isaiah's a great guy. I'm excited that he's on our football team. I think he's a good football player, and like the rest of us, he's got a lot of work to do. So I've always liked Isaiah.
There's only so much you guys can do as linemen through the spring and even the first couple of days of camp. When it comes to Isaiah, have you seen, in terms of the mental side of things, him be able to keep up with you guys?
I mean, the learning curve as a rookie is so tough. Personally, I remember, being in his situation, it can get overwhelming. And I think that's what you got to try to do is not let it overwhelm you. There's going to be stuff you don't know. You're going to mess up. But it's not making those continuous mistakes and things like that. And, so it'll be big, for all of us to mesh and grow and not make these mistakes moving forward. So we'll see.
David, your fellow Bulldog, Malcolm Mitchell, can you just talk about, it's been a tough stretch. He's been snake bitten, how he's handling everything.
Yeah, not quite sure. Mal's a great guy, great competitor. Unfortunately, injuries are part of this game.
Is what Tom's doing at his age, 19 season, does he continue to amaze you every day that you step in and every single training camp, what he does?
Yeah, you got to have a lot of respect for that guy, just seeing, what he does day in and day out, the same drive and focus that he's had, in my now going on our 4th training camp together, I guess. So it's kind of crazy to see, you know, all the things that he's accomplished and things like that, and still has that drive and things like that. And it's a great quality of his, and, you know, something you look up to.
One thing that he's kind of taught you that's helped you maybe with your career?
He's taught me a lot. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I think you can learn a lot from just by watching people and just kind of soaking things in like that. It's not always what people say or, you know, may say to you. It can just be something as little as just watching somebody and seeing how they approach things, how they carry themselves, things like that. I think you can learn a lot from people like that.
You mentioned it's crazy that, you know, to be considered a veteran 4 years, coming in undrafted, knowing, you know, those rookie mistakes you talked about with Isaiah, you know you're going to make them, now a captain and looked at as a leader on the team. How has your perspective changed heading into training camp?
You know, I don't think it has changed that much. I think it's big to just, you know, come into each training camp and, you know, go to work for a job. And I think if you look at like that, with that competitiveness and, you know, non-complacency, you know, you look at it in those ways, I think it's going to work out the best for you.
Dave, is there one thing that you know now that you wish you know as a rookie? Obviously, you learned a lot, but what would you say the biggest thing maybe you...
Relax, take a deep breath. It'll be all right.
David, last question. You block plenty of big guys in this league, but now one of the biggest guys in the league is on your offensive line. Is there any part of you that's like surprised, shocked at how big Trent Brown is?
No, I mean, he is a big guy, but, you know, there's been a lot of big guys in this league and, you know, come across me, especially in college too. He's a massive guy, and I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to feed him as a child, that's for sure. So, all right, guys.